I'm going to volunteer at our rural shelter today. It's pretty much in the middle of nowhere, and I'm going to take you along because I want to show you like what it's like to be a volunteer at a shelter like that, what it looks like compared to those big shelters in the cities that you see, because it's very different. And yeah, it's always interesting to show this, so let's go. This shelter really is in the middle of nowhere, and a lot of people in the community have no idea it's here. My entire drive is nothing but trees and state highways. But just like every shelter, there's a shelter cat who lives on the property. We have a small cat building and then livestock, which a lot of small rural shelters do because a lot of livestock does come in. That's the parking lot on a Saturday, empty because nobody knows it's here. But even though it's a small shelter, there are still so many dogs and it's completely full. People say they don't know where it is to come and adopt, but they sure know where it is when it's time to surrender. But there is a back building for behavior and quarantine, a front building, and then a puppy room. Somebody found this French bulldog as a stray. No idea how that got here, but there's also a litter of puppies that was recently dropped off. Now, the players aren't anything exciting like you see at big shelters. There's 2 big ones, 2 small ones, and honestly, we don't get a ton of volunteers, but that's okay. The volunteers that they do get are super dedicated and try to come in as often as they can. I used to volunteer at a big shelter, and there would be volunteers in and out all over the hallways, but here it's pretty scarce. You don't see that many people. And the only thing that hurts is the dogs because they're not getting out as much as they can. Yes, the shelter staff do everything they possibly can with the resources that they have, but they're just limited, and that's the facts. These small shelters really desperately need volunteers to get the hundreds of dogs out that they have. The shelter staff simply can't get to all of the dogs that come in. By the way, I met this beautiful Pyrenees, and I'm working to try to get her to a rescue because she's like 30 to 40 pounds underweight. She's so timid and scared. It really broke my heart. But the shelter staff really do their best to dog test and evaluate dogs to get them to the best homes. The staff at these kinds of shelters are so dedicated. I really encourage you to go volunteer and meet them. There's no big shiny buildings, there's no yards with turf, there's no computer system for volunteers to sign in and out. It's a clipboard and pen and paper. But that doesn't make these shelters or dogs any less worthwhile to come and meet and help. I will say the county is building a new facility for this shelter after years and years of trying. It'll be done next year, which is super exciting, but the community really is what makes these shelters run. But there are so many other shelters out there like this that desperately need your help, so if you have one near you, go check them out.